Hi, welcome to the public sector track. Today we're going to be talking about what does it mean digital transformation, what does it mean for public sector and how you can achieve it. Before we get started, a couple of legal disclaimers. There will be forward-looking statements as a part of this presentation. They're not intended to be intended to be guarantees. You'd also see some trademarks in here. They're by no means a reference of endorsement. As you go through this session, we want to remind you that chat is open. We have a bunch of people in Smartsheet who are ready to answer your questions. So feel free to use your chat and ask your questions. My name is Rajiv Arun Kundram. Welcome again to the Smartsheet Public Sector track. I head up product management for a couple of different areas at Smartsheet. Admin, our premium products capabilities, which include like our advanced capabilities for processes and programs, products like Control Center, Dynamic View, and a few others. And I also own our public sector offerings or our Smartsheet Gov offering. The thing we're going to cover today is what digital transformation really means for public sector and how you can take advantage of it. And one of the things that we're going to actually talk about is not just what we think happens for digital transformation, but like what the peers in your community are actually doing about digital transformation. And then we'll review what options you really have within the Smartsheet platform, whether you're in the federal government or if you're in the local or the state government, like what options are available for you on the right platform choices that you can actually use. The place we want to start is kind of think about like the work management trends, right? And this is a series of changes that have been happening over the last decade. None of this should be new news. The work is being fluid and is starting to become even more highly fluid. And when we talk about fluid work, we're not talking about the fact that like work changes and like the requirements change, but we're talking about the fact that like work happens mostly outside of the core systems that are there as your systems of record. And what we mean by that is things that are the day-to-day operations and how you move work forward on a day-to-day basis. And as the decade has gone on, the shift has been predominant from things using to be centralized and highly managed to things being highly distributed and processes being the lead engine on how work actually gets done. This also shows up in who actually is doing the work. Today, when you think about the work that's getting orchestrated within your agencies, the work is actually done by the people in the trenches, right? The work is being built, how you manage a process, how you manage an IT project, or how you onboard like citizens to your environment, how you go through new website processes for your agency. All of that is actually done by the people who actually own the responsibility for it. So we are seeing that trend actually become even more pronounced as more and more people get engaged and involved in actually owning the outcomes that they have to go drive. And all of this is happening while the amount of work is actually getting highly, highly distributed, right? And work has gone from where agencies used to go in and say like, hey, this agency owned a piece of work and they delivered the full piece of work, to almost all work is now actually happening collaboratively across agencies so that you can actually have the impact on your respective consumers and customers. And this is happening where the need for agility is only growing. It's growing because complexity is growing, priorities are changing, the socioeconomic climate is changing, the geopolitical climate is changing, and all of that is actually causing you to adapt and innovate faster than ever before. And this trend has only gone and become more pronounced because of COVID, right? COVID is actually accelerating this impact on work. We talked about change being a constant thing. And now when you think about the change in the COVID realm of reality, like we've gone from a world where the focus and the need for agility is now not even a question. It's just a given that all of us think about that as the first thing when we go consider making a process. How easily can I change it? How easily can I undo my decision? How easily can I like pivot and go left or go right? Right. And that's actually happening where collaboration, how we collaborate, is also changing rapidly, right? I have a 2.5-year-old at home, and it's 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 remarkable what that does to how you work on an everyday basis. And it's we're not in a like for me, I work from home for most of it, but like in public sector, we know it's not about like whether you get to work from home or whether you get to go into office. It's like everybody is in a hybrid world. We kind of have hybrid office environments. People are coming in sometimes, going out sometimes, and that change is actually happening more and more and more. Um, and the borders are getting blurred faster. But the thing that I think COVID has really accelerated is made that how we think about managing change a reality of today, right? The tomorrow is actually like right here and now. Like the need for actually getting the outputs is no longer like, oh, I can think about what I want to change, I can manage that change, I can plan for the change. It's happening like instantly now. Like we need to actually be able to do this, roll out a new process, stand up a new environment for us to like go solve a particular problem. And it needs to happen in the next week, in the next day, before 5 p.m. today. And that kind of pressure is just getting to be a new normal for us. And while all of this is happening, the complexity across work streams and processes is only growing, right? And that's not going to go away anywhere. And what all of this really means is the world of digital transformation is now here to stay. And when we think about digital transformation, it's not about how do I get the things that used to be on paper into a digital format. It's not about digitization. It's about the evolution of how do I take that thing that used to be in paper, move it into an online thing, connect it up with a workflow so someone can now go from filling out a form to filling out an online form, connecting that online form into a workflow, have that workflow trigger notifications. The notifications are acted on, and the person who filled the form gets an automated response back, right? That is the type of digital transformation we're really talking about, and it's happening all across us. When we think about digital transformation, you don't really have to just take our word for it. You can just look across what your peer group is doing. There's a lot of different use cases within public sector where Smartsheet is being used to power digital transformation, and digital transformation can happen as strategic initiative that happens across your agency, and it's like a top-down driven thing. But the more and more we see examples of digital transformation actually happening from the different pieces of work that you're actually really doing. And that is the power of like what Smartsheet can actually really enable as you think about digital transformation in your worlds. It puts the power back into your hands. I want to spend a couple of minutes talking about a couple of different examples here, just to illustrate like what your peer group is doing. IT operations is a really good example where um, it used to be that hey, people did not have access to how to go organize and manage large scale projects. So when I'm managing like 500,000 projects and IT projects, how do I actually like streamline how all of these work? Often it was like, oh, I don't know which one is standing where. The default answer was more meetings, more reviews, more emails. There are agencies across the public sector that are actually using Smartsheet to now go in and say, hey, let's go standardize on a couple of ways to actually run IT projects, create them into pre-canned templates or blueprints, make it easy for you to roll it out at scale, and still allow for that customization. But now what you get is a standardized dashboard that you can now go look at and see like, okay, what does my scorecard look like? How is my scorecard tracking? What is happening on a week over week basis? That type of power is not something that was available very easily before. Another great example is digital response management. The COVID realities has accelerated it, but even prior to it, like there were agencies who were using us for like managing responses for disasters in terms of natural disasters that used to occur. And the simple use case over here is think about creating a form for you to get an intake, connect that form into a set of like workflows so you can actually like go find out where the hotspots are that you need to react to, or like how do you actually like allow for employees to figure out like a way for you to participate and tell the agency on are they going to come in, what is their personal state, like how what where exactly do they stand, and then connect it up into a set of dashboards the employees can use to actually self-organize and self-learn on what needs to actually happen, what the right responses are, and what they need to do. So driving the empowerment back to both the citizens and also like your internal employees is something that like a lot of agencies have actually adopted as they thought about like disaster response management. A couple of other use cases that you're going to hear from our customers later today is around facilities management and scaling operations. So we have like 4 sessions following this one in the public sector track where customers will come in and talk about what they are using Smartsheet for and how they are solving for problems within IT operations, disaster response, facilities management, and scaling operations. Uh, I want to pivot over and talk about how Smartsheet is actually becoming the platform to empower your digital transformation. And when we think about digital transformation, the core things that matter are, do you have a good sense of the process that you want to enable? Do you have a way to actually codify that process into a thing that can be actually automated? And have the tools support your process and your ability to get that process out faster and in a more efficient way throughout your organization. And that is what Smartsheet is aiming to do. Like we are federal government ready, right? So we have recently gone and we are now FedRAMP authorized. But when we talk about being government ready, it starts with the core of the platform, right? We are an enterprise grade platform, and what that really means to us is, hey, we have a set of admin capabilities so you can actually manage and govern the use of Smartsheet effectively, and that comes in the form of admin center, event reporting, directory integration capabilities that are actually available within the platform. But we also think about enterprise grade from the sense of, can I actually go roll out 5,000 projects using Smartsheet? Can I actually go roll out an org-wide initiative, a cross-agency initiative, and have that be easily manageable at scale? And we have proven that we can actually go do that both within the public sector, but also across the agencies in both across the agencies in public sector, but also in commercial, where like a large series of our enterprise customers actually use us at scale. The other couple of other things that I want to call out is we've passed through a bunch of security checks, and we are running on AWS GovCloud. So we do have a separate instance of like Smartsheet that's available within the FedRAMP boundary. We are also like ATO approved, and we are currently DISA IL2 approved, and we are going through the process to get DISA IL4 approval. And this is DISA as a Department of Defense standard. As a public sector customer, you have a choice, right? You have a choice on whether you want to use our core offerings that are available in our commercial environments, which gives you all of the capabilities of Smartsheet along with all of our add-ons and enterprise controls. And so you can think about Smartsheet in core Smartsheet capabilities, which include like automation and dashboarding and reporting on top of our like large scale sheets. But it also gives you the ability to actually have control center and data upload and content collaboration, 10,000 feet for resource management, and connectors into Salesforce and Jira and other systems so you can bring data from the outside in. We also have an offering for those of you who are especially targeting towards like federal government customers, where we are FedRAMP authorized. So we have a separate environment that's actually a Smartsheet Gov, where we've gone through the FedRAMP authorization. We are authorized at like moderate impact level. Both of these offerings are now available in the GSA schedule. There's a couple of things that you should know about the FedGov or the Smartsheet Gov offering. All of our core capabilities are available we are in the process of getting all of the additional capabilities over into the Gov environment. So today, Control Center is actually available in this environment, and we are working on getting data uploader and content collaboration to actually be available in this environment soon. Talking about Control Center, we are excited to announce that this is one of the newest additions that we actually have inside our federal government offering. And what Control Center really enables you to do is to manage a portfolio of projects at scale easily. And so you can think about going from planning or demand management, where you can now start to centralize your what projects do you want to do, how do you stack rank those projects, which ones matter, which ones you can do later, which ones can you defer, make all of those decisions early in your planning lifecycle, and then have that connected into your project management lifecycle, going from creating standardized blueprints for how you run each project, connecting that up into an execution framework that your teams can use to get the projects executed, all the while connecting these things up into your portfolio level reporting. And what this really enables you to do is to say, not only are you going to be able to get consistency in the execution of each project, but also be able to go connect them into the overall strategic objectives you really have for your agency, and show how you are materially moving the needle for the things that matter, that you're actually responsible for and accountable to. The couple of other ones that are coming soon, which I want to kind of highlight a little bit over here, is data uploader and content collaboration. What data uploader really allows you to do is to bring data from outside systems. So whether it's your ERP, CRM, or other databases or line of business apps that you have within your agency, and bring that data into Smartsheet in a fairly lightweight way, right? So if you think about a way for you to export the data out of your system into a Excel or a CSV basis, data uploader will now allow you to actually have an automated way to bring that data in some periodic interval back into Smartsheet, so you can now connect it up into your processes and use them to roll out the workflows and the programs and the projects that you actually really need to manage. Content collaboration is on the other side, which really enables your team that's actually creating, managing, and tracking content to have an experience that allows them to mark up content, both in terms of images and PDFs, just inline as part of their workflow. And this rich integration comes in handy when you're trying to go think about how to actually get connections into your vendor systems, and you're managing vendor invoices. Now you can actually go collaborate on those types of things way more easily just using content collaboration. In closing, I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts, right? The digital transformation that we're talking about is happening, and is happening all around us. So I want you to all to pause and think for a second on where you're seeing opportunities for digital transformation, and really question is there a workflow here? Is there an automation here? How do I connect what I am doing into an automation so I can start moving closer and closer to enabling my organization, my agency, my department to get closer to digital transformation? And this reality is only going to get accelerated with COVID. So the thing I also want you to think about as you're going through this process is, how do you respond to change? How fast can you actually respond to change, and how you're rolling out your digital transformation, and what decisions are codified and cannot be changed, and what can actually be easily changed? And as you go through all of these, just know that we are here to help, right? We have helped a bunch of other agencies in both the federal and the state and local government levels, and we are here to help you actually manage your digital transformation. I want to leave you all with a couple of resources over here. We have learning centers, an amazing mobilizer program, and this mobilizer program is both available in the commercial environment as well as a specific mobilizer program that's available in the gov environment. And learn from your peers, because they are going to be able to tell you why something worked, what the core problem was, and what did they do about it. And again, I want to say, like, there's a couple of people who are coming following the session who are actually going to be able to talk about what they did in public sector on how they use Smartsheet to drive digital transformation within their respective agencies and organizations. With that, thank you a lot for paying attention and coming in and attending our Engage. Um, hope you have a great Engage, and thank you very much.